From the CyberHub bunker and studio, you're tuning in to the CyberHub Podcast. And now for your host and CISO, James Azar.
Good morning, security gang. Welcome to another episode of the CyberHub Podcast. It's great to be with all y'all this Tuesday morning, July 16th, 2024. What a great show we have for all of y'all today. So, in case you've been kind of missing the standard operating procedure of cybersecurity, if you're new, if you're just tuning in, if you're just getting familiar with it, subscribe, like, share, comment. We appreciate it. But today's show is going to be a little different because while we are going to talk about some of the data breaches that are going on and some of the vulnerabilities that exist and some of the findings that a lot of researchers have found, we're also going to be talking about the implications of cybersecurity events to companies and how it can change a trajectory of an organization, a focus, a goal, a business accomplishment. And there's going to be a theme today. And that theme is we are really unable to address cyber crime and cyber events in a way that can protect business, employees, customers, shareholders, and everyone alike. And you'll see what I'm talking about here in just a moment. Before we get started, though, we have a tradition on the show. 10, 15 minutes of cyber news requires a little bit of caffeine, a little bit of energy. I've got my double espresso finally. Traveled, got my espresso machine in. Life is good. Yes, I travel with an espresso machine. I do that. Coffee cup cheers, y'all. Some people travel with laptops. I don't tell them anything. I'm just joking. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. First of all, a hacktivist group claims to have hacked Disney as internal Slack channel and stolen more than a terabyte worth of data from that Slack channel. The Disney data breach was allegedly orchestrated by a group who identifies itself as Null Bulge. According to the threat actors, exfiltrated 1.1 terabytes worth of files and chat messages from 10,000 different Slack channels, including those used by the company's developers. Anything we could get our hands on, we downloaded and packaged up. Want to see what's going on behind the doors? Go grab it. The group wrote in a post on X. On July 12th of this year, threat actor Null Bulge wrote on a post on a data leak marketplace breach forums that claimed that the group breached details of Disney's unannounced projects, raw images and codes, some login credentials, links to internal API and web pages, and other miscellaneous data. The leak purportedly contains contents from Slack chats, such as various files of the employees, screenshots, pictures of employees' pets. Oh no, not the pets. You leave cats and dogs out of this. You can take everyone's PII. But when you start taking pictures of my cats and dogs, we're going to have a problem. You're now on my radar. Guarantee you that's what most people are going to be upset. What? They have a picture of Max? And if your name's Max, I'm sorry. It's just whatever. In their blogs, the criminals state that they had a mole in Disney, an employee who assisted them. This has the works of the Sony breach with a little bit of Watergate. Right, we have a mole inside. We called him Deep Throat. Deep Throat from Disney helped us, and he collaborated. He got us into Slack, and from there, all hell had broken loose. Well, nonetheless, Disney is waiting to learn more about the cyber attack and confirms authenticity. At this time, they have not made an official statement, nor have they reported anything to the SEC to indicate that there is material breach. Not the first time we've seen a Slack channel hacked. Obviously, Activision's had that. MGM Resorts had that. Uber. So all in all, nothing new. We'll see how Disney reacts to this, monitoring this situation. 310 gigabytes of data from spyware maker MSpy, including 2.4 million unique addresses, were leaked online in June and obtained by data breach notification site Have I Been Pawned. The data reportedly leaked by hacktivists include 142 gigabytes of user data, like email addresses, IP addresses, and names that obtained from support tickets filed by individuals seeking help to install the application. According to TechCrunch, some of the leaked data includes support tickets from senior-ranking U.S. military personnel, a court judge, a county sheriff office, and a government department watchdog. Some of the leaked email addresses apparently belong to individuals being monitored through MSpy, journalists who contacted the company, and U.S. law enforcement filing legal demands with the company. The information was allegedly stolen from MSpy's owner, BrainStack's Zendex customer support system in Maine, and includes data spanning over the past decade. So, wow. Now, imagine you've been convicted because of this. Now, this data comes out and potentially exonerates you. Then what? Oh, there's that. Now, let's get into some brass tacks here. If y'all remember, earlier this year, last year, we talked a lot about this movement, the MoveIT, the Progress Software MoveIT's essentially 0 day, which brought around 2,700 victims. 2,700 companies that used the product were victims of the supply chain attack. Well, Progress is party to at least 144 class action lawsuits. They've all been consolidated with a subrogation claim from an insurer in the U.S. District Court for the District of Massachusetts. The company said in a Monday filing with the SEC, the growing multiplicity of legal actions accentuate the evolving follow-on impacts and expenses Progress could incur as a result of the attacks on its customers, move its environment over Memorial Day weekend of last year. Now, here's the thing about this. Memorial Day weekend of last year, so May. So we're 14 months later, just about a little under 13 and a half months. Material breach is still being reported. I mean, this is a update of material impact to what happened there, to their 0 day, right? So this wasn't a hack. This was a 0 day. The 0 day resulted in a hack, but it started with the 0 day, right? So all in all, the number of class action lawsuits filed against Progress as of May 31st increased from 127 and reached 147, I believe. Progress reported 58 class action lawsuits at the close of its fiscal year last year. The Massachusetts company has also received letters from 38 customers, up from 35 at the end of the previous quarter, some of which indicated they intend to seek indemnification. While Progress braces for potential legal judgment, settlements, and fines, costs linked to its ongoing response to the most significant cyber attacks are growing. Expenses related to the vulnerability grew from $1 million in the first quarter to $3 million in the most recently closed quarter. The incurred costs did not include $1.9 million in insurance recoveries the company recognized over a 6-month period. And wait till they get into class action and everything else. They're also under regulatory review in the UK, Australia, and Spain. Those were closed without action, but there's some that are ongoing in the US. This is significant, y'all. And this may eventually reshape the way this company's run, potentially putting it out of business. There's impact there. Then we get to CDK. So CDK paralyzed car dealerships from the end of June through the July 4th weekend. Really, AutoNation, many others have now reported that they expect to see financial impact in their quarterly results due to the fact that they couldn't process loans or services, etc. CNN is now alleging that they appears to have paid a $25 million ransom to the attackers, thus ending the saga that started early June. On June 21st, around 387 bitcoins, the equivalent to about $25 million, was sent to a crypto account controlled by the attackers affiliated with the type of ransomware used against CDK, namely Blacksuit. Chris Janisowski, head of the global investigations at crypto tracking firm TRM, has told CNN that a week after the payment was made, CDK said it was bringing car dealers back online to its software platform. Cryptocurrency allows for y'all know what this is. So the cryptocurrency account that sent the ransom payment is affiliated with a firm that helps victims respond to ransomware attacks. Those do exist. CDK spokesperson Lisa Finney did not respond to multiple requests for comment on Wednesday and Thursday on the apparent payment, but nonetheless, they paid 25 mil, and that lets you know just exactly how bad that was. AT&T, for their end, after a massive data breach was disclosed over the weekend, said they paid the attackers $370,000 in bitcoins back in May in order to prevent the data from getting leaked. So he stole all the call records, apparently, and the hacker in question, the criminal in question, a member of the Shiny Hunters group, provided proof of transaction, which was also confirmed to Wired by others based on the cryptocurrency transfer records. The hacker demanded $1 million ransom from AT&T, but he settled for far less, around $370,000. All in all, not too shabby. But nonetheless, that there's that. And now there's the trend that we've seen. Look at MoveIT, buried in lawsuits, right? Their legal team, everyone there is buried in lawsuits. You've got AT&T and CDK paying a ransom, now anticipating legal action, potential regulatory investigations. And again, we find ourselves financing cybercrime because when you pay, if they paid, just those two companies paid $25.5 million, and many others have paid, right? Millions, hundreds of millions of dollars to ransom. It's unsustainable. It's unsustainable. It's leaking money. It's significant. It has significant impact on jobs, on investments, on products, on research and development, on sales and marketing. It impacts every aspect of this. Any other thought to there's that there as well. Let's go ahead and get through just a few vulnerabilities. Recently discovered and reported a leaked access token with admin access to Python's PyPy and Python Software Foundation GitHub repositories. This was leaked in a Docker container hosted on Docker Hub. As a community service, the JFrog research team continuously scans public repositories like Docker Hub, NPM, and PyPy to identify malicious packages and leaks to the relevant maintainers. Attackers can take advantage of them. The post here explains how they were able to found how they found the GitHub PAT for the entire Python infrastructure in a Docker Hub, and what they did and how it happened. A great read, definitely worthwhile, especially if you're a CISO in a development company with a lot of engineering power and so forth. A critical vulnerability in over 1.5 million internet accessible XML transfer agents installations potentially allows attackers to deliver malicious executable to user mailboxes, according to Census. The CVE 2024 39er9er29er has a CVSS score of 9.1. It impacts the RFC 2231 header parsing, resulting in file names being incorrectly parsed, which could allow remote attackers to bypass the file name extension, blocking protection mechanisms. A proof of concept code targeting the bug has been released publicly, but no exploitation attempts have been observed as of yet. According to the attack surface management firm, 6.5 million SMTP mail servers accessible from the internet have been discovered, and roughly 4.8 million are running XM as of now. So a patch in place is what's needed. In other news, Google is parent company Alphabet is in advanced talks to potentially acquire Wiz for a record $23 billion, according to the Wall Street Journal. If the deal is finalized, it would be nearly double what Google's previous purchase of Motorola Mobility was in 2012 for $12.5 billion. So Wiz was worth more than Motorola Mobility. Let that sink in. Wiz was last valued at $12 billion. They just announced a round at RSA of another $1 billion raised. So the folks over at Wiz really built a business, hyperscaled growth, and now potentially facing a $23 billion exit. A lot of founders, shareholders, and investors are extremely happy if this deal closes. And finally, Russian cybersecurity company and antivirus software provider Kaspersky will start shutting down operations in the U.S. in just a few days. In a statement to Bleeping Computer, the company also confirmed that it will lay off its entire U.S.-based employees. According to Kim Zetter, who first reported, this will impact less than 50 employees in the U.S. But nonetheless, those are 50 people who've had their job taken from them. So there's that. I know our community is strong, so they'll likely end up on their feet somewhere else. That's it for our show this morning. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern, here live with the latest and greatest. Until then, have a great rest of your day. And most importantly, y'all, stay cyber safe.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.